What if your Apple Card starting limit was $20,000 and beyond all odds, you were able to get approved for a $10,000 credit limit increase twice for a total limit of $40,000? That's what one person was able to do recently. But before they were able to achieve those increases, they were denied several times and they went almost a year without seeing any growth on their Apple Card. That's until they started using one specific strategy. So in this video, I'll walk you through their data points and show you exactly what strategy they implemented to reach such a high limit and how you can use their methods to increase your Apple Card credit limit. Let's start with their credit profile. Obviously, if you're getting approved for $20,000 limits right off the bat, then you're doing a lot of things right. This person was a complete outlier when it comes to their credit file. For starters, they had a perfect TransUnion FICO 9 credit score of 850. For some context, the average credit score is 716, and only about 1.2% of people have perfect credit scores. So we're already in rarefied air. They also had over 30 years of credit history. 5 years of credit history is considered average, and 10 years is seen as excellent. This person had 3 times that amount. The main reason it's almost impossible for younger people to have credit scores above 800 is their length of credit history. It makes up 15% of your credit score, and older people simply have older credit files by default. This person also had credit limits between $20,000 and $50,000 on their other personal credit cards. The average person has a credit limit of $22,000 across all of their cards. This person easily exceeds that amount with just one single card. Their credit utilization rate hovered around 1%, and the national average is about 27%, which is almost 30 times where this individual was at. Their yearly income was over $350,000, which puts them squarely in the top 5% of earners here in the US. And they also had a Goldman Sachs Marcus Money account with a substantial amount deposited. That means they already had an existing relationship with the Apple Card's issuing bank, Goldman Sachs. So on paper, this is the ideal applicant for Apple Card approval and high limit increases. Even though some of these stats can't be replicated by most people, there's still a lot that you can do to improve your credit profile. The 850 credit score is cool to have for bragging rights, but it's not necessary for several reasons. Any score above 740 is considered excellent and will get you the best interest rates on mortgages, credit cards, and car loans. In addition to that, there is a report of another Apple cardholder getting approved for the same starting limit with a FICO score in the 760 range, and many of you probably already have a limit higher than that. Also, credit card issuers will take note of the size of your other credit card limits when evaluating your credit report. So it's always good practice to have the highest possible credit limits on all of your existing cards so that Goldman Sachs and Apple see that you're already capable of managing larger credit limits. Achieving $10,000 limits per card may be a more realistic goal for you to shoot for. This particular individual maintained a utilization rate of 1%, and most places around the internet will tell you keeping your credit utilization rate under 30% is ideal. That's just false. For the absolute best results, you want to keep that rate very close to zero or at least in the single digits. To do that, many people will pay their credit card balance before the billing cycle closing date each month. This limits the amount of utilized credit that is reported to the credit agencies so your score isn't negatively impacted. This person mentioned having a $350,000 income, but it was never clarified whether that was individual or household income. All credit card applications clearly state that if you're over 21, you can use the income of any person that you can reasonably expect financial assistance from or access to. And this was made possible by the Card Act of 2009. You should know that your income will be the largest determining factor for your starting credit limit and a huge factor for the size of future limit increases, so getting this amount as high as possible should be top priority. That higher income tells Goldman Sachs you can afford to spend and repay larger amounts. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about how they were able to achieve those massive limit increases. Their strategy had everything everything to do with how much they were spending on the Apple Card. They put very heavy spend on the card, and it was split up over a few months. Between the months of December 2020 and mid-April 2021, they charged their entire $20,000 limit plus some, 104% of their credit limit to be exact. The monthly balances were $3,950, $5,086, $3,750, $4,450, and $3,024. Half of these balances were paid before the billing closing date, and half were paid by the due date. At the end of April, they made a large installment plan purchase of $9,090, which took up 45% of their available credit limit. The total spend for those 4.5 months was 150% of their $20,000 credit limit. The following month, they requested an increase and were granted $10,000, which is now viewed as the maximum allowed increase for the Apple Card. They continued to spend close to 100% of their credit limit, broken up over the following months, until receiving a final $10,000 increase in December of 2021. If you're getting value from this, please hit the like and subscribe button to see more videos just like this one. So the big takeaways here are, if you want to be approved for a credit limit increase, it's best to put spending equal to at least 25% to 30% of your existing credit limit in the months leading up to asking for an increase. If your limit is $4,000, you would need to put at least $1,000 of spend on the card. If your limit is $8,000, you would need to put at least $2,000 of spend on the card. The more you spend on the Apple Card, the larger the potential increase. If you currently have a limit under $10,000, then spending 100% of your credit limit gives you the potential to double your limit on the next increase. If you have a limit over $10,000, then the maximum increase you can expect is $10,000. Meeting that high spending threshold of 100% can be broken up over the course of several months. Also, the installment plan feature of the Apple Card could be a good tool for increasing your spend only if you can tolerate the higher credit utilization being reported to the credit bureaus and you actually value the Apple product that you're buying. It's speculated that Goldman Sachs has an automated soft pull credit limit increase process like many other credit card issuers that only allow increases up to certain preset limits. Right now, those max limits seem to be a $20,000 starting limit and a $10,000 limit increase. It's important to remember that credit card issuers like Goldman Sachs are constantly adjusting their risk exposure, meaning they will expand and contract the amount they lend and how easily they lend it over time. The individual in this story complained about not being offered a higher limit because other cardholders were reporting that the max starting limit was $30,000 to $40,000 at the time. And that's just it. At that time, Goldman Sachs was offering higher starting limits. Banks will constantly make adjustments to their credit products and the way they evaluate their cardholders. To see updated strategies on increasing your credit limits with other major banks, check out this playlist. Thank you for watching, and you have a good one.